After a year and a half of fighting for the city, Pokrovsk is officially in Russian hands. The town of less than 42,000 in the Donetsk region cost the Kremlin between several dozen and over 100,000 dead and wounded soldiers. Another symbol of the senselessness of this war after Bakhmut and Vuhledar, Ruski Mir on barren and deserted ruins. Drones have become a key element of today's battlefield. Subsequent analyses clearly show that in almost 4 years of fighting, there has been a revolution in strategy. This in turn turns both attack and defense into a hell that lasts for months. Every meter of land is wrested at the cost of hundreds of soldiers' lives.
It has changed warfare fundamentally, especially when you look at how the full-scale invasion started in 2022, and we had World War I style, tanks shooting at each other and people fighting in trenches, all the way to today, where we have a kill zone that is anywhere from 5 to 20 kilometers in Ukraine, and nothing survives in there.
This in turn means one thing: continuing the war in this way will be exhausting. Here the Kremlin has the advantage, primarily in terms of numbers. Its criminal philosophy of bloody assaults, that is, sending soldiers to certain death, is unsustainable for Ukraine in the long run. We don't feel any changes. We don't know what's going on there in terms of negotiations. I won't say anything, but in our defense area, the situation is the same as before. Both Moscow and Kiev are aware of this, hence Ukraine's increasing concessions. After recent joint consultations with Washington, there was hope that a peace plan acceptable to both sides of the war could be worked out. Everything is currently developing quite effectively. At meetings in Geneva and Florida, Ukraine was listened to and treated with attention. This is important. We expect this trend to continue. A dignified peace is only possible by taking Ukraine's interests into account. Except that the Kremlin does not want to take Ukraine's interests into account. The meeting of the American envoy in Moscow went according to analytical predictions. It was constructive, but without a breakthrough. The Kremlin rejected some of the proposals developed during the Ukrainian-American consultations.
What comes out of that meeting, I can't tell you, because it does take two to tango. Ukraine, I think we have something pretty well worked out with them. They're very satisfied, considering. But the sad part is, if I were president, no war would have ever happened. They would have had 100% of their territory. Nothing would have happened. It's a very sad situation.
Among other things, the Kremlin finds the possibility of Ukraine joining NATO unacceptable. Kiev, on the other hand, knows that only actual membership will give it real security guarantees. A compromise could be the presence of Western soldiers in Ukraine as part of a stabilization mission, but Moscow does not want to agree to that either. We are preparing meetings in the United States of America after the American team returns from Moscow and holds the necessary consultations in Washington. Rustem Umerov, Andriy Khnatov, and everyone else necessary for the negotiations. In addition to the diplomatic efforts of the Americans, Europe is also trying to take action. The only strong card is the Russian assets frozen in the West, which could be used to support Ukraine in either reconstruction or rearmament. This point was also included in the peace plan and was also rejected by Moscow.